Man, I've had a long day at work. I have 2 videos that I have to finish in the next 2 days, and I'm fully booked on lessons this evening, so I hope iRacing doesn't announce their biggest update of the past 5 years today. Let's go over it. All right, let's quickly start with what actually got changed today. This is the only hot fix item. It was a bug where basically people were able to warp inside of other people's cars, causing some really crazy things at Daytona in particular. I'm going to put a clip of that from Reddit that I found, so credit to that person on Reddit. Basically, you just get a huge boost for no reason when you're bump drafting. This has been a thing for a while, so hopefully they've actually fixed it because it really has ruined some Daytona races in particular. Next, we have new license logos. They revamped how these licenses looked in preparation for what we're going to talk about next. But first, we can see on the far left, this is the road, and then we have oval here, and then you can tell dirt road and dirt oval because they have the dark background, so the inverted colors compared to this. Those are the new icons, but we're going to get one more because as we go over to here, iRacing is splitting road licenses. This is huge. This is like massive. I couldn't believe that iRacing actually did this. I've been talking about splitting licenses for a long time, but it just didn't seem like something that iRacing ever needed or wanted to do. And honestly, for them to do this shows that they're really listening to the community and maybe even making this a bit more casual friendly. To encourage participation for both forms of racing and better reflect driver skill level, they are splitting the license system. Now, you hear me talk about all the time, oh, iRating doesn't matter, just drive what you want to drive, and that's really easy to say, and of course people are going to be kind of psyched out about losing iRating, so they don't want to switch disciplines like that. So for iRacing to acknowledge that and see that they'll probably have better participation if they allow people to split their time between them, that is a really good move. And if you're wondering about how your iRating carries over, basically your road iRating becomes both your Formula and your sports car iRating to start out with. So if you're a 1,000, you're 1,000 in both now. And if you're a 10,000, you're a 10,000 in both now. So while iRating and safety rating will carry over, the following data will be collected from a fresh start from sports car and Formula license type. So all of your race results and statistics, awards, and time trial rating, of course, the thing that everyone cares about. All of that will start fresh with this new license type, but you'll still be able to access the old road stats for back when this used to be a road license. And when will this happen? I forgot to say, so this will be the start of season 2, which is only in about a month here. So your road iRating, cherish it for one more month because it's about to get split. And then it looks like the final thing is that safety rating calculation is going to be exactly the same between Formula and sports car. So it's not going to be like ovals on short track racing where that has corners being worth more than super speedway racing per se. With road, it's all the same, so you don't need to worry about that. All right, on to the meat and potatoes of this, the weather. iRacing said finally it's no more soon. Oh, we're not going to release weather soon. It's all about now because iRacing has finally announced that in the season 2, that's when rain is coming. That's when their Tempest system, which is their dynamic weather system, that's when it's going to be launched. No more lollygagging. It's happening. Look at the stats here for the Daytona 24. That is a lot of viewers and a lot of drivers. So good for that. Honestly, for the most of it here, they're just talking about stuff they've already talked about, just how it's going to work. We have a pretty good idea of how the rain system is going to work from previous development updates, but now we actually get to see some of the things here. So look at this weather radar right here. You can see that's even in week 1, there's going to be official competition that has rain deployed across the service. The system is dynamic and tied to historical weather, as many of our racetracks are in the world, and competitors will want to keep track of the forecast. So as you're loading into the session, make sure that you know the forecast before planning your strategy for when to qualify, putting tires on, etc. And finally, the longer the race, the greater the uncertainty. So endurance racers will need to be aware of the environment. That will add a cool little variability of maybe being able to react to weather happening and being able to be the person that's able to get on those wet tires first or time it just right. I'm sure people will solve that pretty quickly. Good thing the iRacing spotter and crew chief will be able to keep you updated on weather changes, so that's also very helpful if you don't have friends joining you. Okay, so here are the cars that are going to ship with rain support on day 1. So now there's an 11 car field. So everything that's going to have rain support is going to be GT3s, GTPs, and LMP2s, along with the Formula 4s, the GR86, and the F4. So those are a lot of the very popular cars that are going to be getting rain support on day 1. So a lot of people are going to be able to try it out. Unfortunately, us oval drivers aren't going to get to mess around with the rain just yet. Here's some cool development photos of the progress of getting all the art done. So some pretty cool development works and all that. And here's a new track that they're doing development on. This is Misano. We talked about that on the previous development update, but it looks like they're pretty close to being done with it by what I see. And it looks like it's going to ship sometime soon, maybe even in season 2. And then here is Portugal. Then they went for Algarve. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, or Portimao. So here's a recent F1 track, of course. So that is also in development. It looks pretty good. And then here's Millbridge, which is a very popular dirt track that looks done to me. So that's probably shipping with the next season as well. And then new cars too. New cars. Awesome. So the Dallara 324, which is the little brother to the Super Formula. And the Super Formula has actually gotten extremely popular in iRacing. So a slightly tuned down little brother version to this might actually go really popular in iRacing as well, because the lower power stuff people get to have a handle on, it might actually become even more popular than the Super Formula. And then here's the SRX car, which is kind of interesting because SRX just got postponed for this season. Not going to run this year, but looks like iRacing's still putting the car out there on the service, so that'll be fun to try as well. So it looks like the car is going to be positioned at the D level, so probably no cautions usually in the D-Class series on ovals, and it's going to have both dirt tracks and pavement tracks on the schedule just to reflect the real-life schedule, so that's really interesting. They also updated the Cup graphics models recently to reflect the real-life changes to the Ford and the Toyota. That's good. A lot of people are going to have to change their paints because of that, but it's about what real life is, so that's what they got to do. And then IndyCar is also getting some improvements now that they're back in good graces with IndyCar. It seems like there's going to be some updates and modifications to the car model that'll make it up to spec with the 2024 car. And how can I forget the Dirt Micro Sprint? So that's going to be a free dirt oval car. So that's awesome. That might really revive dirt to add another slightly higher power than the street stock maybe. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but it'll be fun to try out. So here's some interesting UI stuff. So they're really overhauling the race UI, so also the menu screen and all of that. So first, when you join iRacing, you get this little ready to hit the track, oval racing or road racing. So pretty cool there. I like that a lot. And then here is the big time, the onboarding interface preview. This looks like it was made in this century. So you know what? I like it. Some people are going to be really nostalgic about how iRacing has always looked. But you know what? Me personally, I like the look of this. I'm really excited for it. And then we see the UI in the car as well with all the overlays. It's starting to look a little more Race Labsy if I do say so myself. But at the same time, I think that bringing these graphics up to really 2024, making everything look cleaner, giving it the more modern feel, I think that'll help iRacing a lot because it did kind of feel dated a little bit with some of those graphics. And then here's the UI updates for other things as well. I really like the series and analysis where it shows how many cars sign up on a certain hour. It really reminds me of those posts that people make on Reddit or like the sites for the iRacing buyer's guide and all that. So to have that in the iRacing UI, awesome. I really don't mind if iRacing copies all these people's idea and put it in the iRacing UI because it's their service at the end of the day, and having it all in one place would be very convenient. 3D curbing, very interesting. So they show some scans of the actual 3D curbs from both Sebring and Daytona. They debuted last season at a couple tracks, but they're going to be adding them as they go along, and it looks like the new tracks are going to have them as well. Sebring and Fuji will have support added, so new curbs for them, and that's just scratching the surface. I'm sure they're just going to go through all the tracks and update the curbs as they go along, but that's just what's been done so far. There's a couple more AI racing support tracks, so we got the German name that I can't say very well, and then Snetterton, Lebanon, and Winton are going to get AI support as well. And then looking into the future, more tracks that are going to be added. So Navarra along with, so they're really testing me here, Saxon Ring. I did not say that right. And then Oswego is going to be added as well. That was announced before. And they're planning a trip to the UK. So what tracks could they be scanning in the UK that they haven't already done? Hopefully Rockingham, but I know that it's not being used right now, so maybe not. But another one I'm thinking of is Thruxton. That would be really cool as well. And then it looks like Spa is getting an update, so that's awesome. And since iRacing just recently added 11 cars to be supported for a single series, so for IMSA, for example, it looks like they're going to climb 12, 13, 14, even more cars. So it looks like even more GT3 cars and more of those type of cars are going to be added to have an even bigger multi-class selection. Also updates on supercars and exciting possibilities in Australia. I mean, that probably just means tracks, right? I'm hoping that there's extra Australian tracks coming in. I really want to see, let's see, probably Surfer's Paradise. And if they can get Caldwell Park's Oval, I wouldn't complain as well. I don't think they're going to do that though. And iRacing is also working on a career mode to launch in some capacity, not a full capacity, but at least some of capacity in 2025. So they're working hard on that. And I think that's probably going to go hand in hand with their NASCAR game as well. Looks like they're updating Smoke with the VFX team with all the rain and all that going on. So stuff like Smoke is also part of the project. And then Oval Refresh Phase 2. So the Phase 1 was a pretty big success. It didn't change a ton of things, but it did really change the feel of quite a lot of things, but not to like a massive degree. So maybe Phase 2 will start ramping that up and they'll kind of find that level where they want to be at. But yeah, just a few more pictures to see. Very nice looking pictures. The rain is going to be really cool. There's going to be a lot of people doing stuff on that. I can't wait to test it out myself. I was kind of hoping that we could really mess with some rain tires on weird cars and stuff, but that's probably not going to be for a while, but I'm excited anyways. But other than that, let me know. Do you think this is the biggest update to iRacing in recent history? Because I think it is, but I might be biased. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.